You're live. Yay.
Hey,
All right. Well, um, Happy New Year. I guess I'll say Happy New Year to everybody. This is the first show of the year, and we're starting off with major, major guests, major information. So today we have Dr. Dellia, who is back with us. If you have been following since the beginning with me, Dr. Dellia was a guest a few months back, and we already had decided that she would come back and talk some more. So she is a naturopathic physician, and she's also a life schooling mom of five, right? And she's the founder of Naturopathically Speaking, which is a place to explore all things health and healing holistically and a natural way for individual and for homeschooling families to grow, heal, love, evolve. So we are excited to have her back. Um, let's see. So
thank
the
you for
topic,
having me.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yes, we are excited to have you back. Happy New Year. And
Thank you.
thank you for being the first guest. And I
Thank
did
you.
want to say before we start, so I we are starting. If you see our configuration is a little bit different. We are trying StreamYard this year, and so you can find this video on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. We are also live on YouTube right now. So if you have friends who are not on Facebook and you would like them to get this information, please direct them to 39 Down on YouTube. That is the name of the channel, 30, number 9, and the word down, 39 Down. And they will be able to find this video right now. We'll put the link also in the comments so that you guys can subscribe and share with others. All right. So that's all the household stuff. Let's get right into the, the important information. How do how do our feelings, our emotions affect our organs? First of all, did you all know that that was a thing? Because I mean, I'm thinking, if I feel sad, it doesn't have to do any to have anything to do. I'm just sad. And if if I have a long mood that becomes a disposition, it is what it is. It doesn't have anything to do with any health issues. But Dr. Delia here is saying that it is not so things are not so isolated as we think. So tell us more. Just go right into it.
Well, first of all, Deanne, thank you for having me back. I appreciate
Yes.
that. And this is a very important topic for me because many times, our emotions and our minds actually affect the way in which our how we go about our lives. As a matter of fact, they're so closely related. This is a big, important foundation of whole health because the mind and the heart and the body are all connected. They're all connected as one. Am I there? Okay, yes, just making sure. And so they're all connected. And so it's really important for us to understand that the way we think and the way we feel actually affect the way our body responds. So there's a whole aspect to health and whole health that's mind body related in the holistic approach to healing and to life and to that whole alternative, you call it alternative, I say it's the main way of medicine. And our society has become one in conditions of our society where we have become so busy and so not used to feeling that any emotion that shows up in our body, we want to suppress it, stuff it down, not feel it. We're told that we shouldn't. But a major part of this giant information center that we have as an individual, our body, is the symptoms that come from it. And a large part of those symptoms reside in the way we think and the way we feel.
Mm.
So, um, so that's
Well, yeah, yeah, that is, and so, well, let's just take an example. Let's just take an example. If I'm an angry person, for example, if I have a lot of anger in me, um, how does that, beside me maybe being violent and wanting to punch a hole in a wall, I may hurt my hand, by default, but how does that affect my organs, my systems?
So that's a good question.
Mm,
Now, in traditional Chinese medicine, there are like five major organs. And these
mm,
five
okay.
major organs are the liver, the lung, the heart, the stomach, the intestines, and they pair together. And
Mm,
so the kidney, sorry. And these organs actually are related to different emotions, right? These emotions, they're related to different emotions. And so you give example of the liver. The emotion that is attached to the liver in traditional Chinese medicine is anger. And
mm,
so when you have a lot of anger or undealt with anger or suppressed anger or anger that's whatever, it can be an outburst. Now, before we villainize anger, anger is
mhm,
emotions are just what they are. They're an
mhm,
energetic field that we have. They're meant to be expressed and they're meant to release. That's why we
mhm,
feel them. So there's nothing wrong with having anger. There's nothing wrong with feeling sadness, grief, etc., etc. What's the issue is when we hold on to these emotions for a long time. So, anger, for instance, is the emotion of the liver. The
mm,
liver houses the emotion anger. The liver opens up to the eyes. So, if you have itchy eyes, dry eyes, red eyes, runny eyes, there may be a sign that your liver is not functioning properly. Now, if
okay.
you're holding the emotion of anger, which is the emotion for the liver, you might find yourself having liver issues. So now
Mm,
liver issues. So what can that show up as? You may crave things that are sour. You may have tendon issues, issues of flexibility. Um, uh, and you may feel yourself becoming irritable all the time. The liver is considered like the child. The liver is considered the child. No, 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 no. The liver is considered the mother in Chinese medicine of the heart. It's the
hmm.
mother to the heart. So
So
it
you're
helps us.
saying all of those things can be signs that our liver is suffering?
Yes. And the emotion of the liver is anger. So if you have unresolved anger or you hold
Mm-hmm.
on to anger, and what is anger? Anger is the outburst. What is
Mm-hmm.
resentment? Resentment is the undealt with anger. So if
Mm-hmm.
you hold on to anger for a long time, it turns into resentment. And that
Mm-hmm.
resentment houses itself, just as anger does, in the liver.
Wow.
So you find
Mm.
that it's directly related to our health. It's directly
Mm-hmm.
related to our health. So anger, if you feel anger initially, that acute anger for something, it's okay to release that. And
Right.
many times, one of the best ways to release any emotion for that matter is by
Mm-hmm.
saying it. I feel angry.
Yeah.
I feel really upset right now. I am frustrated. I'm irritable.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that helps to let those emotions come to the surface and leave. The body is giving a response to something that's not sitting well with us. When we deal with
Wow.
it, when we deal with it or we acknowledge that emotion, we are promoting good health.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, that's so important. Now, and guys, if you are enjoying this, please share, please subscribe. I put the link for 39 down on YouTube in the comments, and you guys can share and subscribe to the channel. I wanted to backtrack because you said something. You talked
Yes,
about energy, emotion, right?
yes.
Our emotion and our feelings. And I think that's the key to what you're explaining is that one one emotion has energy and it goes throughout our, those main organs, and then same energy traveling to, you talked about our eyes, like how
Yes.
my liver affects my eyes and my joints and so on and so forth. So can you talk just a little bit more about this concept of emotion and emotions a little bit?
Okay. So our emotions are an energetic field, and
Mhm.
our emotions are one of the ways in which it reflects what's going on in our body. Our
Mhm.
emotions reflect what's happening in our mind. So our thought process. So generally speaking, I'm trying to see if I can uh, share this to my page, but
Okay.
yeah, but
Oh.
me yeah, if it's possible, at least link it there. But in general, our emotions are a passive reflection of our mental state.
Mhm.
And our mental state is generally based on our belief systems.
Mhm.
So if I believe that I am not enough, I am not loved, I need to be thin, I need to be this, I am really sad, or I need to be really strong, whatever our belief states are, they show up in our emotions and they drive our emotions, the way we
All
think.
right.
So if it drives the way we think, then we start our actions play out our thoughts and our emotions. So if I feel like I need to be strong, then I take on tasks, attitudes, approach to works, the way I interact with people that show that I'm strong. Sometimes
Right.
it may not be healthy for me. That creates its unnecessary stresses in the body. It puts the
Mhm.
body in what we call a sympathetic state. That
Mhm.
sympathetic state is a fight or flight state that's a stressful one. And then we
Mhm.
respond that way in our bodies, and our body, it houses itself in different parts of our bodies based on whatever that emotion is. It houses
Wow.
ourselves. So, for instance, the lung houses the emotion of grief,
Hmm.
right? So, the lung houses grief. The stomach houses the emotion of worry, right?
Mhm.
The kidneys house the emotion of fear, the liver, the emotions of anger. And so when we have these emotions holding them on excessively for long periods of
Right.
time, they house themselves in these aspects of our body. And then in traditional Chinese medicine, they show up with certain symptoms in the body, health
Mm.
wise.
Right, right, right. And so that's why, the disease is not necessarily is not, it's just not, it's not isolated from our emotions, right? And is it what, 60%, 80%, I forget the numbers, that they say chronic diseases that are linked to our emotions?
Oh, 80 to 90%.
80 to
I would
90%.
say 80 to
Wow.
90% of our dis-ease, because that's what it is. It's a
Mhm.
dis-ease in the body, is linked to our emotions. Because it
Yeah.
starts there. Now, as a naturopathic doctor and a naturopathic physician, we believe that all health and all diseases, most health and most diseases begin and end in the
Mhm.
gut. I would venture to say it doesn't just begin and end in the gut, it actually begins in the mind and the emotions.
Yes.
Because we say you are what you eat, right? Or you eat
Mhm.
what you are, but you eat what you are. But I actually say you are what you eat. So, or you eat, sorry, what you are.
But you
For
are.
instance, yeah, you eat what you are. So if I'm feeling really good about myself, if I feel I'm energized, it's a new year, I'm ready to go, what do we go
Right.
to? We go to healthier
The
foods.
good
We
stuff.
hit the gym. Well, not right now if the places are locked down, but we do things that fuel that feeling that we
Mm,
have, right?
right.
But if we don't feel good about ourselves, or we're tired, or we're feeling sad, or lonely, depressed, bored, whatever you want to call it, then we
Mm,
gravitate to foods and behaviors that help to pacify that feeling. So it
wow.
shows you that our thoughts really align, and our emotions align with everything else that we do. And our
Hmm.
disease processes start there. So they
Right.
start there. They start with the way we feel and the way we think, right between our eyes, right between our ears. Yeah.
That's crazy. That is so true. And yeah, because again, we don't think about that when we go to the doctor, right? not necessarily the naturopathic doctor. That's what probably we need to
Right.
do.
Right. Yeah. You'll see a naturopathic
So
doctor.
we
That's
go and we say, you're having issues with your digestion, which is a big one too. You're having, bowel, let's say, bowel issues, bowel movement issues. And, it's been so long, and you say, okay, let me go to the doctor. And then they give you laxatives, they give you all kind of stuff to treat just that, to help you eliminate. But then the problem, the reason why you're having those issues is not addressed, right? And it
yeah.
goes with everything in our body. I have migraine headaches all the time, right? And well, they give you a prescription to help the symptoms. You don't feel the headache, but the headache is coming from something, right?
Absolutely. And so, again, the conventional approach to health is
Mhm.
generally more of a band-aid approach. So what
Yeah.
do, we slap a band-aid on. Doctor, my stomach hurts, or I'm having a lot of digestive issues. Oh, here. Well, now people are becoming more aware that we need to take probiotics and we
Mhm.
need foods that support the gut. And
Mhm.
that's important.
Yes.
But
Yes.
if we don't get down to the root, and what
Mm-hmm.
is the root? Stomach ailments reside in a lot of worry,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally. So
Yeah.
then we need to understand to a patient, what are you
Mm-hmm.
concerned about? What are your concerns? What are your fears? It shows up in musculoskeletal issues in the stomach. The stomach in Chinese medicine is related to the muscles. So you'll
Oh,
find you'll have weakness in your muscles and
we-
those.
we're hunched like this with our
Right. Well,
back.
that's kind of posture, but more so the muscles like bleeding gums, your tissues, things
Oh.
like that. Um,
Mm.
bad breath, or you have a lot of muscle cramps. That's
Mm.
related in Chinese medicine to the stomach.
Stomach.
And what is the emotion attached to that? It's worry.
Worry.
So you see how the symptoms are all related to that channel. And when I say
Mm-hmm.
that, these organs are considered, they're meridians in Chinese medicine, and they have a whole governing of symptoms that are associated with that organ, so to
Right,
speak. Does
right.
that make sense?
Well, yeah, and that's good because I was going to point out to that because we know you see people posting, like you're saying, anger, the liver, anger, and then they put stomach worry and this and that, and so we're only thinking about just these organs. If you even are aware of that concept and you've seen the post and you've seen the picture and you're thinking, well, I'm angry, my stomach, right?
No,
But we
I'm angry, my liver.
Oh yeah, if I'm angry, my liver. Thank you.
Right.
Then we don't realize that the liver, like you're saying, is a meridian. So the liver is feeding and is helping the functioning of other organs, right?
Right.
So
Right.
there are those main meridians, the main organs, like 5 of them. You said,
Yes. Yes, they
right?
are.
Can you
If you want me to
remind us
repeat
the
them,
5?
so it's the heart, the liver, the
Mm-hmm.
stomach, the kidney, and the
Mm-hmm.
lung. Those are the
Right.
five meridians the 5 major meridians, and they're
Mm-hmm.
affiliated in
Right.
Chinese medicine with emotions, with different functionings of the body, with
Mm-hmm.
different organ systems, with
Right.
different symptoms that show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. So all of the organs are affected somehow, but yeah, most of some, they are the meridians and then other organs around, that they feed, that they work with. And so, that's what we don't want to just focus on, let's say again, anger, liver, and that's it. There's anger, liver, and then the liver, affects your eyes and affects this and
That's
affects that.
right. The
So we
symptoms
have
show up
the
in the
tension.
eyes. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
That is amazing. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
so I
And so
wanted
what
to.
we find is, like, even for instance, we struggle with a lot of like overthinking. So you'll
Mhm.
find as a society we are overthinking. We're
Yes.
ruminating in our minds. We live a lot of stressful lives, and so a
Hmm.
lot of things stay up here.
Yes. Yes.
Well, the overthinking, the excess worrying, the excess anxiety, you'll find you have a lot of gut symptoms. Some people
Yes.
feel a knot in their stomachs,
Mm-hmm.
so they're like, it may be that. You may find them having things like a lot of
Really?
constipation or diarrhea,
Mhm.
or anything IBS, a lot of those things. Well, we
Right.
can say, well, it's important to have the foods that are related to these areas to nourish that,
Mhm.
probiotics, sauerkraut, foods that are fermented, and to
Mhm.
really help to heal the gut. And that's going to be important on a physical level. But if
Right.
we don't address the emotional aspect of it, we really
Right.
don't get to the true root cause of what's
Mhm.
causing the symptoms, overarching symptoms.
Right.
When you peel back the layers for a patient, you would find, oh, so they're worried. What are you worried about? And then
Mhm.
the spilled beans come out. And then after,
Yes.
just by talking about it, they can actually on their own lessen by
Mhm.
just expressing it through
Yes.
different creative means. They can realize, become aware that the
Mhm.
reason I'm having these symptoms are because of my worry, or because of my
Mhm.
stress, or my anger, or my
Right.
fear, or grief, whatever.
That's the importance of the holistic the
Yes.
approach to things. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And
Right.
I'm glad that you used that example as with the stress, the worry, and the gut, because also I read something that our digestive system, based on our emotion and the stress level, also we can eat. You can eat as much good stuff as you want. It's not necessarily being digested properly, and it's not going to where it's supposed to go. Is that correct too?
That's absolutely right. And so, if you have a lot of stress, and our body basically functions in these two states, it's the rest and digest, it's
Mm-hmm.
the fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
In medical terminologies, it's the nervous system that does the parasympathetic state and the sympathetic state. That
Mm-hmm.
sympathetic state is the fight or flight state that puts us in a space of where we're stressed. When you
Right.
think that a bear is going to chase you, you want to fight or flight. Your
Mm-hmm.
cortisol levels go up, your heart rate goes up, your kidney function decreases. You don't want to have to pee if you have to run. Your gut shuts down because it's no time to digest food, right?
Right.
That's not the time to digest food
Not the
because you're
time.
in a fight or flight state.
Mm-hmm.
Our lungs opens up so that we can actually breathe more. And so these are what's happening when we're in a sympathetic state, which is a fight or flight. In that state, because physiologically digestion shuts down, if we're constantly in a space of stress, we're affecting the stomach. We're affecting digestion. So it doesn't even matter if you're eating healthy foods. The gut needs to break down those foods so that it can transport itself to nutrify.
Yeah.
And
And
if
it's
you're in a
not
space
doing
of
that.
Right. If you're in a space of stress, digestion is not happening properly, which means
Right. Right.
ultimately you're still not going to be getting the nutrients and what that you need from eating even healthy foods.
Wow, that's powerful. I do want to open up for questions. If anybody has questions for Dr. Delia, please put them in the comments. I know it's almost time already to the end of our discussion. But if you guys have any questions, please put in the comments, and we'll make sure she answers them. Oh, I forgot my question. I forgot. Well, what to do? That's my question here. So, what to do? Call to action. We understand that our emotion or
Hmm.
energy in motion uh,
Right. That's it.
affecting every single part of our being. Right. So, what can we do? How do we how do we know what is? How can we detect what is affecting us? And how can we manage it on our own or with help of a physician?
Okay. So that's a good point.
Mhm.
So, one of the first things that I would suggest is simply this: it is really important for us to acknowledge our emotions. It is by acknowledging our emotions that we can heal. We can heal. We have been trained as a society to ignore our feelings, suppress them, stuff them down, repress them, deny them. And by doing that, we're forcing these emotions deeper into our bodies that promote ill health. So the first thing that we can do that is really, really healthy is to acknowledge the emotions that you feel. Realize that emotions are a healthy barometer to what's going on in our bodies. So instead of suppressing it, instead of getting a drug to shut it down if you feel anxious, just acknowledge, I feel anxious right now, or I feel depressed, or I feel down. You may not necessarily be able to know, always understand what emotion it is, because as a society, we have not been trained to feel. But sitting there with that emotion and feeling it and saying, I feel stressed. I don't know what it is right now, but sitting there with it, when it comes up to the surface, it's way of trying to come out of our bodies, right? So if it's coming out of our bodies, then we need to allow it to come out, allow it to feel, realize that our emotions are just a small part of who we are. Our emotions are really of it doesn't define who we are. It's just coming out from us. So the first thing is to acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. I'm angry right now. Just by saying that, try it next time. You'll find that your anger will go down a few notches just by acknowledging it. Oh, I feel sad or lonely or whatever the feeling is, the vibrations are. You feel that. And then once you're able to do that, taking things like going for a walk, taking a deep breath, journaling that, listening to music. Sometimes I would say just being in silence. Being in silence is the best way, because the mind, as Busy Matt Kahn says, as the mind is active, the mind is too active, the heart becomes closed. Our heart is where our emotions are housed. So if we're always up here, then down here is closed. You know, in the biblical sense, the Bible actually says to guard your heart, because from it comes everything you do.
Yeah.
So if we have to, and physiologically and physically, the heart is the first organ to form in the body in embryo. It's the first organ. So there's a lot to do with the heart. The heart is considered like the king of all the organs. If we
Right.
shut it down, we're affecting our whole health. So the first thing we need to do, we have to feel our health. We have to feel, allow ourselves to feel. Don't be afraid of emotions. Let yourself feel those emotions. Feel the emotion and sit with that emotion. Let it come up. Okay, what is this trying to tell me right now? And then allow it to come up. Sit with it and feel uncomfortable with it, because it's going to feel uncomfortable for a while.
That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be a little,
It will
when
be
you first
uncomfortable because
discovering,
a
when
lot
you're
of
actually
times we're
allowing yourself,
pardon me? I'm
so
sorry.
when you actually first discovering and first doing that exercise of allowing yourself to feel, I'm thinking it could be a bit of a rush of emotions. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's, and it for a lot of people, as a matter of fact, for the majority of society, it will
Mm-hmm.
be, because we are told and taught to numb our
Yeah.
emotions, drink it away, smoke it away, eat it away, stuff it down. And what does it do? We stuff it down and we put on weight. We stuff it down and we are in all forms of ill health, because it's storing itself in different aspects of our bodies, and it's causing us to have long-term ill health. So allow
Yeah.
yourself just to feel it and acknowledge that it's okay. It's okay that I feel this way. Now, there may be times where the feelings may be very overwhelming for you to feel it. And if you find that after you try to take a walk, breathe through it, be mindful, just kind of be with your breath. Allow yourself to do that. Get quiet, take a walk in nature, and just calm down. And you're not able to calm down, then I would say go see a naturopathic doctor. Go see a naturopathic doctor or a holistic practitioner or holistic counselor who can help you walk through those emotions and not just give you a drug to then numb it out or suppress it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
really important to go see a holistic practitioner who can help you sort through those emotions healthily. And remember, when you feel things, emotions are the body's way of trying to come up and go out. They're always trying to escape. So if we
Yeah.
stuff it down, it's going to stuff itself into different parts of
Right,
our
right.
body.
That energy, it has to come out. Yeah, it's
That's
just
right.
like if you have I don't have an example. So popping popcorn, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's
And
trying to
yeah, if
come
you
up
keep
to our
it down, it
body.
just, yeah.
It explodes inside and it
Mm-hmm.
causes ill health, and it causes ill health to different organs. So if you find, for instance, the kidneys house the emotion of fear. But the
Mm-hmm.
kidneys in Chinese medicine, it's our vitality, it's our essence, it's our chi.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're having a lot of fear, fear for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, it will show up in low back issues.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a lot
Okay.
of low back pain, that's
Yeah.
usually related to the fear of money, having money, not fear of money, but or having financial
Financial
instability.
issues.
Yeah,
Okay.
financial
Okay.
issues, but it could be because of fear of not being able to provide or fear of
Mm-hmm.
losing or whatever the fear is, it houses itself in that manner.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
again, our emotions are directly related to our health.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I wanted to bring up as
Mm-hmm.
well
Go
is
ahead. Yes.
our disease processes actually are a mirror of, again, the thought processes that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So an example would be, um, if we show up with well, something that's very, very common to most people is thyroid issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah,
have a lot
that's
of
true.
thyroid issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a thyroid issue, it's related to this part of your body, right? The thyroids
Mm-hmm.
are housed right here. So it's in
Right.
this area of your throat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's related to your ability to express yourself
Mm-hmm.
or your ability to feel heard. So you might express yourself, or you may not know how to express yourself, or you may learn how to express yourself but you don't know how to feel heard. Or you don't,
Mm-hmm.
not that you're not feeling
You
heard
feel
when
you're
you
not
express
feeling hurt.
yourself.
Right.
Right, that's what I meant. So
Wow.
it shows up in throat issues, sore
Mm-hmm.
throats, whatever is related to the throat area, this area, right? And so they're directly related. So then
Mm-hmm.
you have to ask yourself, am I needing to speak up more for
Hmm.
what I feel? Or do I need to find a way to express myself so that I feel heard, or let someone know I'm not feeling heard? I want to
Mm-hmm.
feel heard. I need to figure out how to express myself better to feel heard. These are the ways in which we can heal the
Mm-hmm.
things that come from that area.
So, and it's the whole area, not just the thyroid. You
Not
have
just the
everything
thyroid, but the
like the
thyroid is
vocal
major for
fold
me.
and everything. Just the voice, maybe the vocal fold, all of that is affected
That's correct.
by not
That's
feeling
correct.
heard.
Yes,
Wow.
not feeling heard, or the inability to really
To express.
express. Right.
Mm.
Right.
Wow.
Or yeah, or you can have things like joint issues
Mm-hmm.
or other aspects of health.
Mm-hmm.
If you have acne or things break out on your face, it's a form
Mm-hmm.
of not, anger towards somebody or someone. Our body, this giant information center is what I call it,
Yes.
is our bodies. And the
Yeah.
things that show up in our bodies are
Mm-hmm.
directly related to the way we feel and the way we think.
That is
So
that is crazy.
it is. And so it's really important
And
for
I
us.
have one here. Kyra said, let me put her question up. She said, "How about the upper middle back pain?"
So upper middle back, I can actually pull it up real quick because I have all of these sitting here. But if we have the upper middle back, that's usually related, because I don't know all of them off the
Oh
top of
yeah,
my
I'm
head.
sure.
Uh,
It's a
uh,
lot. That's awesome, though.
uh,
No, I say it's a lot of because it's all of our body, all of our
it's all
system.
of our
That's
bodies,
really, really
exactly.
awesome.
So when we have back issues, our upper back is a lack of feeling emotionally supported, right?
Mm.
It's a lack of feeling of
Kyra.
upper and middle back, or in the
Mm-hmm.
middle back is all about guilt. So that's stuck in all the stuff with my back. Get off my back. It's a feeling of guilt. Somebody, that guilt will.
Ah.
Or the upper back is a feeling of lacking of emotional support. So you'll find that
Mm-hmm.
hunchback or
Mm-hmm.
pain in the upper back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a feeling unloved, of holding back unloved,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you'll find it shows up in that area. What you can
Wow.
do is start speaking different words into your life. Start
Mm-hmm.
speaking, I love and approve of myself. Life supports me and love supports me. Life supports and loves me. So you start telling
Mm.
yourself and speaking a different framework and a different
Right.
belief system back into your life.
Yes. And it brings you back.
Yeah, and then you start, yes, it it's a burden. Life is a burden. You're carrying a burden on your back. Your back
Yes,
becomes
yes.
heavy,
Mhm.
and so you find you crouch over. Life has become that
Mm.
burden. So that's for upper back.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Kyra. Thank you. Thank you. That was a really good question. That opened up the whole back. We went
Yeah,
to the whole
it
back, and
does.
that's really good. Yeah. And what about the hormones? I know that's like a whole other. There's so many different things about hormone imbalance, but is that also is there a feelings or anything attached to hormone imbalance or different kind of hormone imbalance? Kind of in a general description, if you can give us that.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So when you think of the hormones are in our endocrine system, and the endocrine system that houses all of the hormones. But the different
Mhm,
hormones are they all work in tandem, obviously, because the
mhm,
body works
mhm.
as a whole.
Right.
But the different hormones affect different aspects of our health. So
Mhm,
when you think of something like cortisol is our
mhm,
stress hormone. Our
mhm,
stresses are related directly to our liver. It's directly
mhm,
related to our heart, right? So
mhm,
you'll find that patients who have hypertension or cardiovascular health, it's directly related to their cortisol levels, which are
mhm,
high because they haven't learned to do it, but the cortisol levels are our stress hormones. So it goes
mhm,
back to our stress. So
mhm.
then you have to ask yourself, what joy am I lacking out of my life? Because that's
Ah,
related to the heart, and the heart
mhm,
houses the emotion of joy. So, what joy is out of my life? What stresses am I dealing with long term? Because the liver is the mother to the heart in Chinese
mhm.
medicine, which means that the liver, if I'm under a lot of stress, constant stress all the time, I'm affecting my heart
Your heart.
cardiovascularly, right? So
Wow.
so that's related to stress. That's the stress hormones. And then we have
Mhm,
the thyroid hormones. So we have the
mhm.
thyroid, and again I spoke about the throat
Expression,
with that.
right?
That's right. And
Mhm,
then we also have the sex hormones.
mhm,
So that we have the hormones that are related to estrogen and
mhm,
testosterone. Again, those are related to that part of our organs, which is our sex hormones. And the sex hormones in the medicine is at the root chakra, and that one
mhm,
is houses a lot of creativity or sometimes sexual trauma. So if we
mhm,
have things that are dealing with that we have not dealt with in terms of the
mhm,
sex hormones, they show up. And once a hormone becomes imbalanced, and so we could have infertility, we can
mhm,
have a lot of testosterone affects your bone health, your breast
mhm,
health, your brain
mhm.
health. These things are affected by these hormones, right?
You said something, and I asked hormones because I feel like I have some imbalance. And you said suppressed creativity.
Yes, it does. But that's if you're dealing with the hormone
Wow.
of the sex hormones. If
Yes.
it's the
Uh-huh.
sex hormones, right? So the
Yeah.
estrogen,
Yeah.
testosterone, right? So it zaps your creativity because a lot of, and when you think about it, what is the
Mm.
womb? The womb is the area that
Yes.
we create life for females.
Wow.
It's and for males, the
Mhm.
sperms, and it's where we create life. And so it's a
Mhm.
huge part of our creativity. And you'll
Yeah.
find that in business you're not feeling as creative, or in your life if
Mhm.
those hormones are off balance.
You just answered so many questions for me. But see, that's why I do this, because this is for me to learn, and I feel like I need to share what I learn. And
Right.
I am learning live. That's every time I'm learning live, and that's just you answered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but Kyra
And so
has some
then so
more
we have all
questions.
the, and then we have the
Oh, go ahead.
insulin, and the
Hmm.
insulin hormone is
Hmm.
directly again related to the amount of sweet that we have in our lives. It's obviously the
Yes.
insulin is related to the amount of glucose levels that are
Right.
high,
Right.
and we have too much glucose in our lives, and there's a feeling of the insulin levels have to rise to
Hmm.
balance out the glucose levels to keep the blood in balance. Well, the
Hmm.
insulin is the hormone related with diabetic conditions. And
Hmm.
diabetic conditions are usually a feeling of losing or lacking the sweetness in your life
Right.
emotionally. I've
Wow.
lost these emotional feelings in my life. I've lost some of the sweetness in my life. And
Yeah.
so it shows
Mm-hmm.
up in that condition. Now, as a holistic practitioner, a naturopathic physician, or any holistic practitioners, our job is to pull the whole body system together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so we're working on nutrition. That nutrition is foundational to health.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have good nutrition. You cannot
Mm-hmm.
substitute good nutrition.
Yeah.
However, in addition to nutrition, it's also at the base of that is our
Mm-hmm.
emotions. It's
Right.
important. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't do one without the other. But if you
Yeah.
think it's all
Yeah.
about nutrition and you don't, if it's all about nutrition and you don't actually focus on the emotions, you
Mm-hmm.
find that your nutrition, you can say, I'm eating this, I'm eating gluten free, I'm eating salads, I'm doing all
It's
this
not
stuff, and I
helping, right?
still don't feel well. It's because our
Yeah.
emotions are not tied in
Wow.
fully.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me put the two questions before we end. Kara had two questions. The first one was, could it be due to too much hormones? I'm thinking, Kara, when we were talking about hormones, sexual hormones, we sometimes say, we have too much estrogen, too much of this or too much of that, and that's why we have different issues. And her other question, I think maybe she's linking. The first question that she put was, you stated about acne. Acne shows up due to anger. And a lot of time when we talk about acne and cystic acne, we talk about balancing the hormones.
Right.
I
So when we
remember
have,
I've been on
right,
that journey. So,
right. And so when we
yeah.
think of acne, acne is a form of not accepting yourself. It's a disliking of the self is what acne
Mm,
shows up as, and the mind emotional space.
ah,
However, why aren't you liking yourself? Why?
mm,
Where am I not feeling
mm,
enough? Getting to the root of that is
mm.
understanding why the acne, and then it can show up on different parts of our bodies, and
Yes.
that even
Uh-huh.
represents more. And I go deeper into that in my course. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, um, accepting yourself is where that
Mm-hmm.
goes in, but it affects hormonally. Acne is related to the androgens, having too much androgens, which are the male hormones,
Mm-hmm.
testosterone. It's too much
Right.
of that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all related. You could dissect it to explain it,
Yeah.
but in the
Right.
body, it's all
It's
happening
all
all in
related.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you address all of the different aspects, because even if you take the medication to balance your androgen or whatever, but then if you still not feel loved or accepted, or your self-care, self-love, self-awareness, that affects things, your creativity, as you said,
Yeah,
all
it
of
comes
that,
back. It doesn't
it
go away.
expresses in your skin.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
It
So
does.
even
Or
if
your
you balance, yeah, the medication helps. We never, never want to say don't take medication. There are things that can help you on the journey. There's several things that you need to do on that journey.
That's right. And it's a
Wow.
whole health approach. So it's
Hmm.
looking at all these different pillars and making
Right.
sure that the pillars are in order. So
Hmm.
I can have good emotions, I can have
Right.
balanced emotions, but if I'm not
Hmm.
eating properly, then
Yeah.
I'm not supporting my whole health. Or
Hmm.
I can have whole good nutrition, but if I'm
Hmm.
not thinking well, I mean, it's
Hmm.
biblical. The Bible
Yes.
says, what a man thinketh in his heart, so
So
is he.
yeah.
Right? So if you don't think well of yourself, if you don't think well of, and you don't have these negative emotions and negative thoughts, they
Hmm.
show up in the way our body responds. Another
Right.
thing is a huge other deal is autoimmunity.
Hmm.
Autoimmunity is huge. It's one of the it's one of the major top major illnesses and diseases that we experience. And what is autoimmunity? Autoimmunity, as the name it sounds, is
Hmm.
auto, is self, and immunity is our immune system. So when we show up with different autoimmune disorders, it's
Hmm.
generally speaking that the self is attacking self. So I am attacking myself. So autoimmunity is for self-attacking self. And so
Wow.
is it by the way you speak? Is it what you
Hmm.
feel? In myasthenia gravis, it's the muscles are depleting. It's all about the self-attacking self. I'm becoming critical of myself. And that's where autoimmunity shows up in these different
Wow.
forms, whether it's rheumatoid arthritis, however you want to break it down. It's all boils back down to you attacking yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is, yeah, yeah. And I love it because that's what I want to help us, understand that, we are all, everything within us, everything about us is linked together. We cannot take things just in isolation
No.
anymore. That's and we there's ancient, as they call it, medicine, Chinese medicine, Indian, all of those Eastern, as they call it, medicine that was rejected,
Yes.
right? But now we have to realize that this knowledge is real and it's true and it's important, right? And it has to be integrated in how we heal ourselves and how we live our lives. So
Yeah.
yeah, I want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, I
We've
can
been.
we can do
Mhm.
another till yeah, another 10 minutes or so. That's fine.
Okay. Look at that. So Kara asks, does Dr. Delia have a book?
I don't have a book. I'm
Not
probably
yet.
gonna if I'm gonna do a book, it'll be more on a children's book because I believe
Mm-hmm.
that if we can affect
Mm-hmm.
positively
Mm-hmm.
children, then
Yes.
we can change the landscapes as adults
Yes.
because we as adults are we are the grown version of our child self, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so if we don't deal with the childhood issues, which are our foundational issues that show up, then they
Yes.
show up into our adult lives and they show up as dis-ease long term. Most of the people
Right.
that we see, and we've seen, when you peel back the layers of their health, it goes
Mm-hmm.
back to their childhood or it goes back to a major traumatic event in their lives. And so, really dealing with understanding and teaching children how to express themselves, how to identify their emotions. And even as children, remember, I have sometimes one of my daughters will be, I'm so angry right now. Well, we as parents, I know the island way of doing things can be like, don't you talk to me like that, whatever. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand that, but we need to teach our children how to express
To
themselves,
express.
how
Yes.
to understand their emotions, because therein
Mm-hmm.
lies their health.
Mm-hmm.
No stuffing things down. No,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to talk about it. Or
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Oh, no. It's important for us to start teaching our children to say, I'm angry right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm frustrated. I feel really tired. Learn those emotions and let them learn how to address them so
Mm-hmm.
that they can also continue to get
Yeah.
these emotions out and become healthy adults.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, good, good. And I'm posting in the comments, I'm putting your Facebook page because if you guys can follow her and everything that she rolls out, all her other interviews and everything, you guys can be in the know, in the loop. And
Yes.
you are working on a program that's going to teach this, right?
Yes, yes, I go really in depth in my course on
Mm-hmm.
our emotional health because, like I said, there are multiple pillars that make up whole health in
Yeah.
families and individuals. It's multiple pillars. We have to learn how to do proper nutrition. And proper nutrition, a lot of people think, well, if it says gluten free or dairy free or vegan or paleo or all the buzz names that are out there, that it equates to health. Um, but there are a lot of ingredients in some of these buzzword marketing fads that we have to
Yes.
be able to just dissect so we know that what we're eating, if it says gluten free, that it doesn't have all these other ingredients that
Exactly.
or dairy free or whatever. So that's important.
Mhm.
But our emotions are as well important. Understanding those and understanding how to relate and heal ourselves,
Mhm.
heal our lives
Yes.
by healing our emotions, by
Right.
feeling our emotions. We
Mhm.
say in naturopathic medicine, you have to
Mhm.
feel to heal. You got to feel
Feel
it
to
to
heal.
heal it. So if you want
Wow.
to heal your body and you want to heal your life, you've got to
Uh-huh.
allow yourself to heal
To
by
feel.
feeling those emotions, sitting with it, sit with it.
I know. And this is so, and I am from, so Ireland, as you said, and also French. We repress everything.
A
We
lot of
repress.
people
Yeah, I mean, because it's part of the culture where you do not show, you just do not show.
were taught to
You
not
have to
do
be
it.
proper. You have
Right,
to be so proper, right? And
right.
it's good, it's an environment, to know, to have those skills from a young child, but then at the same time we repress a lot. Lorraine had a question. Lorraine said, in dealing with anger, what comes after calming down? And can you deal with the anger alone? Can you deal with it alone?
Okay, so in general, in dealing with anger, what comes after calming down? Well, if you deal with acute anger, which is the anger that shows up initially, the onset of it, then what you find is that that emotion came up because of something that triggered it. And
Mm-hmm.
the anger is the link to the trigger of what you felt. So if you deal with that and you deal with the trigger, sometimes the trigger is based on what someone else is doing to you. You get a chance to calm yourself down and say, now it's time for me to address to this person, generally the people we love the most.
Right.
Sometimes it's random people, but we can say, you know what, when you do this, I feel angry. I
Mm-hmm.
would like for you to stop doing this because I feel angry when you do it. If it's a loved one or caregiver or somebody who you care about, you can express that to them. And hopefully, in the space of you doing that and in a healthy relationship with whoever it is, that person can now understand that this behavior triggers that for them. And they can work towards doing better so that it can help you out. And also you dealing with your own anger. Why am I triggered by what that person is doing? That gives you more power and control because ultimately you're 100% control of your own life. So
Right.
if you're being triggered by something that someone else does, you have to unearth that trigger because
Mhm.
you're in control of your emotion. What is it
Yes.
in that emotion that that person's doing? What is it about that that's causing me to feel this way? And go
Right.
down through the layers until you get to the root of it. And once you get to the root of it, you ask yourself, well, do I still need to believe that? It's usually based on some false belief of some sort. And then you start believing, start working through that. You say, okay, I don't need to believe that anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
could release that belief. It's not a true one. Is that belief true for me? Ask
Yeah.
yourself those questions, and then you can help yourself release. Um,
Right.
in terms of dealing with anger alone, if it's not dealt with, it goes into other aspects. So it becomes resentment, it can become contempt, we can find ourselves behaving in rage in other ways because we didn't deal with the initial
Mhm.
feeling of whatever was causing that anger. It's an
Yeah.
opportunity for you to go deep, go within in
Mhm.
solitude.
Right. And alone, and sometimes, yeah, you do need somebody to guide you through,
Right,
a
that's right.
coach or a counselor or somebody that can, actually help you get to the core. And because sometimes, that root, that initial thing that started the anger, or that feeling of not being enough, of not being heard or whatever, and that can be, from deep
Deep
trauma,
wounds, deep
deep
trauma wounds.
wounds. Yeah, yeah.
And
And
they
so,
usually stem from our childhood. And so
mhm,
and when you find yourself going there, if it's too much for you, then
right,
again seek a holistic counselor. It's really important to
holistic.
go to holistic, not just a regular counselor, because then they slap the band-aid on, they give you the
Mm-hmm.
drug, and that causes suppression.
Yeah.
Suppression causes deeper disease. It causes, when we
Yes.
suppress, the diseases go deeper into our bodies, and then
Mm-hmm.
now it becomes a real chronic ailment, right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That
you
is
so
powerful.
and dealing with anger alone is not suppressing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not suppress Suppression is not dealing with our emotions.
You
Suppression
don't.
just
Yeah.
stuffs it down. Denying our emotions stuffs it away.
Mm-hmm.
Expressing it is the best way to do it. You could do it through writing, you could speak into the mirror, you can tell it
Right.
to the person, you can write a letter, however you want to do it. If you find that after you've tried, you can go for a walk, you could take some time in solitude. Nature
Mm-hmm.
is it's a replenisher of health. So go out into nature. If you find that you're doing those things, and after you do all of that, those emotions are still like a wave like a wave, a strong wave, and you can't, then you need to get professional help.
Mm-hmm.
Seek a naturopathic doctor or
Yeah.
seek a holistic practitioner or holistic
Mm-hmm.
counselor.
That can help. Yeah. And talk about lasting. I keep saying that,
That's all
but
right.
nature, because nature is, something that we don't put the importance on nature. We say go get some fresh air, there's oxygen, and take a walk for fitness and all those things. But the connection that we have with nature, the more I think about when you actually take the time to think and not take for granted uh, how God, again, I use God. I know some of, not everybody that's listening is Christian. How God, or how the supreme intelligence
Yeah.
created and orchestrated the world and put us in on earth, right? So first there was, moon and stars and lights and all of those things, and the air and the atmosphere and the trees, right? The vegetation, and then the animals, and then us. And there is a reason. There is a reason, and our connection with nature and what nature does to us when we actually get in nature. Can you talk just a little bit about that, just to, encourage people to actually connect with nature some more?
Yeah. So the society that you're dead on. The society that we live in today, we have become almost like isolations of ourselves. And
Mhm.
so we are behind screens a lot. We're fully loaded with technology, no shades to any of these things because we need them. But
Mhm.
we've become so much buried in front of a screen, and that we are missing out on nature's most cheapest, affordable ways of healing ourselves. Being
Yes.
in fresh air, being out in the open allows us. The trees are the lifeline to our lungs. They're the
Hmm.
lifeline to our health,
Right.
because they take in our garbage and give us what we need to sustain ourselves. So
Right.
being out in nature really allows oxygen to come into our lives in a fresher way than if we're in an indoor space.
Hmm.
And we know that the job of the heart is to pump oxygen and
Hmm.
nutrients to all of our tissues and organs in the body.
Right.
So, to be able to get good oxygen, which is at the foundation of good health for the cells on a cellular level, being out in nature provides the best of that. Getting the
Mhm.
sunshine, the vitamin D. Vitamin D is one of the major hormones in our body. It's the hormone that actually helps to generate cholesterol and all the other hormones that we need. As a matter of
Right.
fact, if we are vitamin D deficient,
Hmm.
literally the whole host of gamut of ailments and disease processes come in when
Right.
we are vitamin D deficient. So what is that? Autoimmune disorders, eczema, hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular ailments, you name it, all of it is linked to vitamin D deficiency or immunity, right? And where do we have it? Freely from the sun. So being out in nature really allows us to have our opportunity to replenish. It also helps us to therapeutically relax. It sends a signal so that we can actually be in a space of calm and relax and rejuvenation. So there's a prescription that says if you feel like 20 minutes in nature, at least 20 minutes you should have in nature, is too much, then you need an hour. You need an hour. You need to get more. So if you feel like it's
Interesting.
too much, you need more,
Mhm.
because it's
Mhm.
there to rejuvenate you, to help to really recenter you, bring you back into balance, into alignment with who you are and your creator. That's what nature is there for, and it's free. Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. No, that's really um I when you think that about something, and then you go deeper into it. It's very very informative and very eye opening. It's been very eye opening for me. So thank you. We are at the top of the hour.
Right.
And so I did put your Facebook page in the
Thank
comment.
you.
And so can people enroll for the course now? Or are you going to make an announcement when it's ready? Can
Well,
we
if
already bombard you?
yes, you can enroll. You can enroll. You can direct message me. You can enroll for the course now if you like. It's going to be ready in about 3 weeks. It's going to go
Okay,
live, and it's going
perfect.
to be, yeah. So if you want to enroll in the understanding more of how your emotions
Mm-hmm.
affect you on how
Mm-hmm.
you can become whole by addressing and dealing with the emotions, this will be the course for you. You can enroll now if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Direct message me and we
Awesome.
can do that. It's going to be a live course, so it's not a lot of people. It's a small
Okay,
amount. Yes,
okay,
seats
okay,
are limited
okay.
in that regard. But you can also follow me naturopathically speaking on Facebook.
Mhm,
That's my
mhm,
name, or Instagram, where I post little posts there. Instagram, the same thing, and on my YouTube
mhm,
channel, where I
mhm.
just started that, so we'll be getting more insight on holistic health and
Okay,
naturopathically speaking.
okay,
um,
okay.
you can
So
subscribe to my channel there.
make sure to put your YouTube channel also in the comments
Okay.
when we're done. And so you guys subscribe to Dr. Delia's channel, subscribe to my channel.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we give you as much information for your healing journey. And as you noticed, I am learning as you are learning. I just try to bring guests that can teach us, and I do say us. And so, thank you so much for coming. I'm putting my link to the YouTube channel. Please share with others. Also, spread the word because there is so much to learn and so much healing that is right there for us to acquire. Just reach out and grab. And so, thank you, Dr. Delia, for coming. Any last word that you have for us?
Well, thank you for, first of all, for having me. I enjoyed the conversation, and hopefully your audience felt
Mhm.
blessed by it, or at least encouraged that they can address their their emotions, and
Mhm.
understand that it's really
Mhm.
tied to all of our health.
Yeah,
So as you go forward, don't be afraid to
feel.
heal, heal by feeling. So healing occurs by feeling. So feel those emotions,
Mhm.
and watch yourself get into whole health.
Awesome, awesome. That's wonderful. Well, that's all we had for today, guys. Thank you for those who watched, and thank you for those who posted questions. As you know, or did I say at the beginning? I think I told you, Dr. Delia. We are so 39 down will be the name of the channel on YouTube. And so once a month, I'll be coming on the third weekend of the month. And on Saturdays, we'll have conversation just like this one. And then on Sundays, we are cooking.
Oh,
Okay,
cool.
so so tomorrow I will be with Chef Maisie. She'll be cooking. Or I will be cooking. She'll teach me how to cook something. So we'll cook together, and I will be posting, every month the list of ingredients so that you guys can, if you want to, you can buy your ingredients ahead and be ready to cook with us alongside with the chef that I'll have featured. Okay, so that's exciting this year, 2021. That is going to be our model, and I feel like I want Dr. Delia to be back at some point, but
We can arrange that. We can arrange that.
hugging her. She has things to do. But anyway, but thank you again for coming, and thank you for everyone who joined, who came in, and thank you for the encouragement for everyone who is in the background, helping us out. All right, that's all we had. Until next time,
All right.
see you soon. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.